guys, and welcome back to my show, I Am Becoming by Monica Singer, and this is episode number 7. Today we have a very special guest. This is my friend, my business partner. She is an actress, model, entrepreneur, everything. She does it all. And we're going to talk a lot about, how she juggles it all, how she has so many businesses that she's just exceeding in. So yeah, you guys, we have Nathalia Castellon.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. That's funny because whenever someone introduces me, it's so crazy when they have to say all the slashes. I'm like, I hear it and I'm like, damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, and that wasn't even everything.
Yeah.
I like tripped on some words. I'm like, wait, she keeps going.
Yeah. Well, I think that in life, my motto is having slashes, right?
Yeah.
It's called Slash Life. And actually a friend of mine introduced it to me. I feel like you have to have something that you're passionate about, / your moneymaker, / your escape, / your charitable stuff. So that's where everything kind of falls under.
Yeah, that's cool. And you can tell you love everything that you do.
Mm-hmm. So
that's really cool. The enthusiasm that you have about it all, that's really what it's all about. It's like you have to love what you do. So Nat City, let's let the audience know a little bit about you, people that don't know you or don't follow you. Let's talk about where you're from, where you came from. Okay. Let's start there.
My name is Nathalia. I'm also known as Nat City on social media. I'm born and raised in LA. I have, like she said, a few different businesses, one of them being partnered with her. I started acting when I was about 21, but I always wanted to act. I'll get into that a little bit. My dad, when I was younger, he would always ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up? Mm-hmm. And that's like a very, common question. But I always had a different answer every time he asked me. So, Nathalia, what do you want to be? I'm like, today I want to be a truck driver. A what? Like, what do you mean you want to drive a truck? Okay, today what do you want to be, Nathalia? And I would say, Dad, today I want to be an artist. I want to paint. I want to do this. So on and so forth. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to do everything. Every time I would watch a movie, I wanted to be that. Yeah. And then so I thought, finally, I'm like, Dad, I think I want to be an actress. Why, mija? Because I can play everything I've ever wanted to be as an actress.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but of course, you don't believe in yourself. So I didn't pursue it till later on. I think I was like 21 when I joined an acting class.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
21, so 6 years ago. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, but we're out here killing it over here, like auditioning every day. It's like a struggle, but. So a little bit more about me growing up here in LA.
Yeah.
I worked every job you can think of. I mean, I sold glasses. I was an optometrist assistant.
Oh, really?
I worked at Hooters.
So did I.
Yay.
For like 2 months until they made me stand on the table and sing, and I said no.
Yeah, no, I was in the front greeting people. Yeah, they did expect a lot from the girls that worked there.
Yeah.
I was a waitress, bottle service. Honestly, sometimes when I'm having a casual conversation with somebody, I'll remember, oh wait, I actually worked doing that.
You know what? I feel like that too. I had, I interviewed a girl that did bail bonds, and I'm like, oh, I used to do that. And then I forgot who else I interviewed or talked to, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, dude, I used to do everything. Like, what the heck?
But that's good. You had that little hustler mentality. Since
and it was never like, I was never able to do like the 9 to 5 though. It had to be commission based. Like for me, everything was like, okay, I know however hard that I work, I'll make extra money. Yeah. So, whether it was bartending or selling cars or bail bonds, whatever it was, it's like, okay, it's up to me. Like whatever hustle I have, it's up to me to make that income.
And you won't fail.
Yeah.
Because it's on me.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that reminds me of when I was 14, my first job was selling hair straighteners at a kiosk in a mall in the Valley. And I worked for this beautiful Israeli family who kind of just trusted me and gave me the keys they said, open up at 9 a.m., you close at 9 p.m. And I wasn't even legally allowed. But I forged a work permit.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, Dad. I signed his signature, and they were like, okay, cool. Like they just didn't even think. They paid me cash and they gave me commission.
Yeah.
So I was there open to close, just constantly selling. And they let me play with the price range. I don't know if they still do this, but they were like, the minimum you can sell this straightener is for $99. The highest is the value on the box, which is $400.
Oh my gosh.
So you better believe I was out there selling those hair straighteners for like $3.99, giving them a free brush. But
you gave him $1 discount.
Give him $1 discount. Oh, you know what? I think you're kind of cute. Let me do your hair. I'll give it to you for $300.
Yeah.
So, but it gave you room to negotiate, which is a really interesting thing if you think about it. Like now that I'm older, all those little sale techniques, like they still come into play.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you know, I feel like everything is a sales business. You know, whatever it is that you do, you're trying to sell a product. Whether it's working for somebody that's selling a product or a service, you're selling yourself.
Or yourself. Like
Right.
if you're a brand on social media now, like all you're doing is constantly selling yourself.
Right. And all of those little jobs, whether it was a 9-to-5 or whatever, you know, that all helps to where your end result, you know, whether now you're Donald Trump selling, I don't know what, but
What is he
but
selling?
anyways, so then okay, so you did that. What else did you do like younger in life?
Okay, so I moved out pretty young. I moved to Hollywood because obviously, you know, that's where dreams come true. And I hated it. So after a year of living in Hollywood, I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I was really obsessed with the show Sex and the City. So I wanted to be Charlotte. I wanted to sell art.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, crazy. So I just decided, okay, I'm going to learn how to, again, it's in sales, right? But be an art consultant and sell. So I found a job in Alaska, of all places.
That in the world.
Alaska. So here's this like young, like 19-year-old, like working in Hollywood, you know, working at Hooters, decides to completely change my lifestyle. I interviewed through Skype a few times with the artist.
Oh my goodness.
And they paid for my flights and my housing, and I lived in Ketchikan, Alaska for 9 months.
Oh my goodness.
By myself.
Selling art.
Selling art. Or they were kind of like
wild.
sculptures. They were like handmade sculptures, and
How did you do?
I killed it, you know, but I mean, all my paycheck was going to just the stuff to do there, you know, like, but it was a good experience. When you live in a place like Alaska and you meet the people that are native, that they're Inuits, they have a completely different mindset.
Yeah.
Right? And they just feel like everybody there had a passion, right? So there was dancers that their goal was to move out of Alaska, go to LA, go to Seattle, go anywhere to pursue what they really wanted to do.
Right.
So there was artists, there was dancers, just fishermen, just people that actually had really big goals and wanted to get out of there. And that inspired me because I'm like, you know what? I have the opportunity at my hands. Like I live in LA, I'm from here. Why am I escaping to Alaska?
Right.
So I had a moment by myself, and that's when I realized, you know what? You need to go back to LA. You need to pursue everything you've ever wanted to pursue, which led me to acting.
So you were in Alaska by yourself. Mm-hmm. Did you make friends there?
Yeah. So I made a lot of friends. The manager of the gallery became like somebody that was just kind of like a mother figure for me. Yeah. And then the two other people that worked with me in the staff, they became like my family. They were my Alaskan family.
Because it actually seems kind of nice to get away from the world for a little bit. Yeah. And reflect on, you know, yourself and kind of tune into yourself. That actually sounds really nice. Yeah. And to, you know, figure out what it is that you want to do. So I think that's really cool that you actually did that, because then I'm sure that's what you did. You probably thought you had a lot of time to think. Oh,
and there's nothing to do there except for be in nature, right? So like we were hiking across waterfalls, and like it was just crazy. Like you could see whales and black bears all these, like, I was not exposed to that in LA, obviously.
Yeah,
you know, like black bears running around or like whales in the ocean. So to me it was very like, it was eye-opening, and I was young still, so it definitely molded me.
You said you were 19?
19.
So then what? So you moved back?
Came back to LA. I joined an acting class, and I studied for 2 years until I got my agents and my manager. So I was really lucky because I kind of had already made a lot of relationships in LA. that the introductions were made properly. Like I met a couple different agents, they signed me right away, and they started sending me into auditions, and I prepared, because a lot of times, I prepared as much as I could, but a lot of times you have to learn the hard way with acting, because auditions are it's a tough world. Like you constantly hear no.
But you kind of have a natural you're naturally like outgoing. You're naturally like you can adapt to anything. I remember like when I first met you, you know, I even thought like, dang, this girl, like she is always in a good mood. Like what the heck? She's so extra.
Yes, thank
you. But that's just who you are, and it's really cool because like I feel like you're the person where like if someone's ever bummed out or something, it's like, oh, let me get a little bit of Nat in my life because you're you're just very uplifting, very optimistic.
Thank you.
Always, you know, thinking positive and always happy. Like even like when you're sad, you're like cracking jokes. You know, you can't like frown. You know, and that's a really good characteristic of yourself. So. The fact that you pursued modeling or not modeling, acting, you know, it was just, I feel like it was just natural. And I'm sure people see that in you when you do acting roles. It's like, oh, I can do that. I can play those roles.
Well, you can't limit, I don't know, you just can't limit yourself. And another thing, just to touch back on like the being outgoing, I moved around a lot. Like my family was so dysfunctional. Love them. Love you guys. But we did not exactly have the white picket fence, you know? So I moved around. I went to like, I don't even know, like 5 different elementary schools.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry, 5 different middle schools, 2 different elementary schools. I went to like 7 high schools. I ended up having a homeschool because I started working and I started making money, and I was like, hold up, this is what I need to be doing. Not this. What do I need to know about this for? Let's figure out how to do this. Yeah. And so I started focusing on working and just hustling. Yeah. But moving to different schools and having to be the new girl every single time, it's hard. And so in the beginning I was like shy, very like reserved, very, you know, even though inside I had this fiery, bubbly personality, I was bullied, and I was like kind of looked at as like, why is she talking so much? Why is she trying to be the class clown? So every school was different until I finally came to who I am, and I realized, you know what, this is me. I'm not going to just be friends with the cool kids. I'm not just going to be friends with these smart kids. I'm going to be friends with everyone. I got along with the cheerleaders. I got along with the debate team. I got along with everybody because I wasn't trying to be molded into what anybody else wanted me to be. So I just decided that I was going to be myself.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. That's so many schools. Did you make any lifelong friendships from grade school? Or?
You know what? I think that a lot of the people I met in most of these high schools, I am friends with somehow on Facebook or... But
not like a close... And that must have been really hard because, you know, I'm just thinking like some of my best friends, like it's crazy. I have two friends that I met one in 1st grade and the other one in 2nd grade.
That's amazing.
We still talk to this day. Like they're still my best friends. So, you know, jumping around, I can just imagine because we went through all like school together, up to high school, from elementary till high school. So that must have been pretty crazy, like just jumping around, going and trying to fit in where I always knew like, okay, no matter what, I have these 2 friends. Like these are my 2 best friends. So going somewhere, not knowing anybody, every school, it's like, that's hard.
I know. There was a couple schools my sister was still in with me, but when my parents divorced, my sister moved with my mom, so that took that. And then my younger brother, so I mean, it was definitely difficult. I have 2 friends that I actually met at the mall when I was selling those hair straighteners, and they're still in my life. So those were kind of my childhood friends, and then obviously, you know, Sally and like a couple of my other friends, they become like family because I don't know, I feel like when you make relationships, you want to just keep them and like
especially when they're good friends,
especially also when you didn't have the opportunity to make them when you were in
younger,
high school, you know.
I think that's made you who you are today, the fact that you did jump around so much, and you always had to like be friendly and you always had to
Yeah.
try to like make friends. And now being older, it's probably easier for you, where I think other people, it might be, the reverse, like, oh, I'm not letting anyone into my circle, or I don't need any new friends. And you're like, hey, like I didn't have a whole lot of friends as, going through school. So now it's like, it's just easy for you. It's like to
absolutely.
make relationships, and you appreciate them. That's really cool.
Yeah, you have to, any relationship you make, I mean, anywhere I go, I'm like, hey, what's up? How are you? Like, you never know. I'm always complimenting. You look beautiful. You look great. I always hug. I'm a big,
you are.
I'm a hugger. Every time I see you, how are you? You look beautiful. You look pretty. You look great today. Like, because these little compliments can change a person's day.
Definitely.
And anybody that you meet, wherever you are, you're going to leave an impression. And there's never a second chance for a first impression. Right? So you want to make sure that right when you walk into a room, you say hello. You're like grateful that you're in the presence of great people, and that's how I think that luckily, because I've everything from the ground up to now, that's why I have such good relationships, and that's why I was able to get an agency. That's why I was able to be where I am now. Yeah. So you're right.
That's really cool. So let's talk about, what else is Nat City doing? I know you're doing so much, so then you did, and we'll talk about that also, like what roles you played in, or actually let's talk about that now since we're on that. So your acting side, like what have you done?
Okay, so I'll talk about the most recent TV show, because my passion is TV. I love movies, don't get me wrong, but I've always wanted to be on a sitcom. I've always wanted to be like that, like Friends,
Yeah.
That's my goal, that's my passion, that's what I'm working towards. But
I think you'll get it for sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
This year, hopefully. I was on Ballers. I played Tiffany, which is one of the main characters, who's a football player's girlfriend who he cheats on. So I got to be the crazy Latina. Yeah, I got to be the crazy Latina. I was like throwing things at him. So that was fun. Ballers on HBO. And then I was on a few shows on Freeform, which was it was called ABC Family back before. A show called Chasing Life, where I basically play like the little flirty college student. I always get pinned for those roles. But and then there was a couple other shows. Baby Daddy. I play an escort, so there's that. But a very high-end escort.
Have you played a truck driver yet?
Not yet, but we will one day.
Okay.
If not, I'm gonna film a skit just being a truck driver.
Just to say, Daddy, I did it.
Daddy, I did it. That's a truck driver. No, and then I filmed a movie like 3 or 4 years ago. This was one of the first movies I ever filmed that just recently came out. It's called Kiss Kiss. I play a very innocent, brainwashed, naive girl who is also a stripper.
Oh my goodness, you played it all.
I know, and I had to take classes, which was really fun. I mean, those girls, let me just give you guys a round of applause. Like, that takes some strength.
Yeah.
Like, to pull yourself up out of a pool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just tell you right now, that was hard.
I can't imagine.
No, it was hard. So I stayed on the ground on my scenes. But it was...
She's like, I'm not that strong.
Yeah. So that movie was great. It was action, drama. There were some funny moments. It helped me learn long days on set, long nights on set.
It was a thriller, right?
Yeah, thriller. You saw it.
Yeah, it was very suspenseful.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yay, I'm glad that you think so. It was definitely challenging because I have a scene in it where I'm forced into a sexual situation. Well, that was a little awkward in me at the red carpet premiere because I had never seen the movie and I was like,
oh my goodness, this is what I look like.
But it's good. It definitely, I mean, it was challenging, which is something that I think you should always do. You should always challenge yourself.
Yeah.
So even watching it.
Which is something that I'm doing with this podcast because I'm, my worst subject in college was public speaking or communications and public speaking. I failed my first, the first time I took it. And I just feel like, you know what, if you're not challenging yourself, you're not growing. You're not. So I was like, you know what, this podcast, but I've always liked like even my freshman year in college, they had my high school at the time. I ended up moving my sophomore year, but my high school had broadcasting, but you had to be a sophomore in order to be in broadcasting. And they would do, it was really cute. They would do like, they would broadcast like the weather, and everybody in class, like they would see it. So it was basically like a news station type of thing. And then sometimes they would interview other students, like, it was so cool. My brother was in broadcasting. I think he was like one of the cameramen or something like that. And it was like, oh my God, I can't wait to be like a sophomore so that I can do broadcasting. And I was really good at, like in my language arts classes, I was really good at writing. And I used to like love to just write. And I would write like poetry, and I would write like, oddly enough, now that I think about it, I never thought about it before, but I would write like interview type stuff, because I was kind of like prepping myself to be in broadcasting, because I would be like, okay, I know that's what I want to. I never wanted to pursue it like later in life. In school, I was like, I want to be in that class. I want to do that. But then I switched schools. The other school didn't have it. And then I just kind of faded out. I no longer wanted to do like broadcast or like the whole journalist thing. But I was always good at writing. I always enjoyed reading when reading wasn't cool. Now reading's like so cool. But like I used to be like a low key like book reader. And it was kind of embarrassing. Like I couldn't tell people I used to read books.
Isn't that funny?
It's weird.
To, like,
yeah. And so now I'm just like, you know what? I need to get out of my shell. And it's something that I always kind of wanted to do. And, you know, this is totally broadcasting. So I'm like, I'm doing it.
Yeah, you're doing it. And congratulations. I already, like, when I found out about the podcast, I was like, why didn't you tell me? I need to watch. I need to hear this right now. And then I was like, congratulations. Because the first thing I always tell influencers, anybody really that wants to pursue something that they're passionate about, is tunnel vision that shit.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Because you can have the ideas and you can tell yourself, I really want to do this, I really want to do this. But if you're just, you're conceptualizing this idea of what you're gonna do and what you want to do and what you want to be, but you're not actually planning it and taking action, it's just that. It's just words in the air. It's nothing.
And it's something that I had been planning since, it's been over a year. And then finally my husband was like, you've been talking about this? Just stop telling me about it. Just do it. Do it. Yeah. And I was like, okay, once my office is ready, my real estate office, which we're doing it in now, but it's not ready. Like everything, I still need more furniture and I need more stuff. And, you know, I talked to like the marketing team and everything, and I was like, yeah, I want to do this once my office is ready. And they were like, no, we can just do it at your house. Like, we'll start now. Like, we'll start this week. And I was like, no way.
But you did
and and my husband's like, go, do it. Like, why are you still, and it's like, you know, the inner me is like scared, and I'm trying to think of every excuse. Like, I'm like, you know, I'm just like, no, I can't, because my office isn't ready, and I want to do it in my office, and I don't want to have a bunch of different backgrounds in my videos, and all these stories that I'm telling myself. I'm getting in the way of myself. And I feel like it's like that in life for a lot of things. Like we kind of get in our own way, and it's just like, no, just do it. So I wrote it down, and I was like, okay, this is the date. This is day one. Yes. This is going to be my first episode. I was so nervous. It was just me speaking and the guys. And it was like, I was freaking out. I mean, it took us forever.
That's amazing, though. You got in. You jumped right in.
And now I'm just kind of like, oh, this is really fun. Yeah. This isn't even scary anymore. So, totally cool. I know I went totally off rail, but
that's good. You're passionate about it, so it took you into like, well, let me just tell you the story really quickly, like the whole thing.
Yeah,
so that's good. I'm so proud of you. I think that's amazing.
Thank you. Okay, so now we talked about your acting and everything, and then you're also name something else.
Oh, influence.
Okay,
we'll go there.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
So we all know social media is life right
Everything.
now. Everything is revolving around this platform that we now visit every single day on our phones, right? So when I started acting, I started developing a little bit more followers. I started getting like random, DMs and emails from brands that they were just like, hey, we want to send you this. We want to give you this. Would you post it on your Instagram? I didn't really think of the value for them just yet, but I thought, cool, I'm going to get free clothes.
Yeah.
Why not? So I decided, okay, cool, yeah, like I'll take some clothes. I started taking some pictures, and this was back then when Instagram didn't allow you to upload photos. Do you guys remember that? When it was like you had to take the picture directly from Instagram.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, there was nothing but you literally take the picture, upload it, and there was like 4 or 5 filters that you can pick.
So it was one shot.
One shot.
Oh,
there was
goodness.
no way to save the photo, edit it, make it
perfect.
perfect.
I do remember.
Yeah, you had to just take it directly.
Yeah.
And
But
then,
you would take like a bunch, and then it was like, okay, this one's cute.
Yes.
I'll do this one.
Mm-hmm.
I'll upload this one.
Yeah, and that's kind of when I started social media. And then there was no stories, there were no videos, there was anything but just that. And then so slowly Instagram started to progress and grow, and it turned into now you're able to upload photos.
Right.
And then it turned into you're able to upload 15-second videos.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that? And then now we can go on. There's stories, there's 1-minute videos, there's IGTV, there's FaceTime in a sense on social media. So anyway, Instagram developed and grew, and so did we. So did I. I decided that instead of getting free product, I knew that there was a way to monetize this. I said, why don't you send me the product? I'll create the content for you. I'll post once a week, and I'll throw in a 15-second video for you for $1,000. I think at the time I had 60,000 followers, around there. And I actually got a yes. A company was like, totally.
Yeah.
Cool. Where do we send the money? And I'm like, I remember the moment I looked at my friend who was my favorite photographer at the time. I'm like, they said yes. Oh my God. Okay, let's do it. Like, what are we going to do? Where are we going to go?
And that was like, you hadn't talked to any other influencer. You just did it on your own.
I did it on my own.
Okay.
Yeah. So then from there, as like you said earlier, if you're not challenging yourself, you're not growing.
Right.
So if you're not evolving, if you're not growing, if you're not constantly trying to exceed the last thing that you did,
Exactly.
right? Surpass it, for lack of better words, then you're just going to be stale.
Yes.
So I started growing my following more and more, and I decided, why don't I incorporate other influencers?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of me just getting $1,000 for me, I'll get $5,000, and I'll ask Monica to post with me, and we'll create the content. And then I'll ask so-and-so to do it too. And that's slowly when the terminology came out, influencers. Mm-hmm. So I started to, in a sense, pitch other influencers for brands that aligned with them more than they would for me, because I'm lifestyle, definitely more, I could do a little bit more fitness, but that's not my passion, right? So I started finding influencers that were fitness driven and started to connect them with Fit Tea or connecting them with different brands that worked with them. And then I was making money off of the entirety of the marketing budget by hiring other influencers.
Yeah.
So.
And and that was great for everybody, because it was like you have so many influencers, and you're just able to connect the dots.
And then at that time, I pitched one of my packages to a company called Brand Snob, and they were ahead of the time, and they created a platform where, kind of like a Tinder, you could swipe right or swipe left on brands and influencers you would want to work with. So my job was a brand development manager. I was here in LA, they were in Australia, and I met every influencer you can think of, and I signed them up for the app. So I developed a roster of over like 4,000 influencers based in LA, New York, and just by emailing every day.
Oh, wow.
So I started to gain more knowledge. I read more books on influencer marketing. I never went to college.
Yeah.
Go to college if you want, but I didn't. And I just read any book, and I listened and watched every podcast, YouTube channel that I could on social media marketing.
Yeah. But see, even though you say like you didn't go to college, you didn't stop learning, though. That's the difference. It's just, you don't have to have a degree in one thing, but you have to still continue to learn whatever it is that you want to do in life. Like, you have to still master it. So you probably have a master's degree in influencing, but there's just no
paper to prove that.
There's no degree.
I went to YouTube University.
Yeah, exactly. But you have to like master what it is that you want to do, or that you're doing in life, and that means like continue to learn, continue to grow. Don't just think like, they didn't go to school, I don't have to go to school, I'm gonna make money and I can just do it by like, I don't know, YouTubing like how to. No, you don't. You have to feed your mind.
Yes, absolutely. To this day, I still I want to go to college, take a couple classes just to learn a little more. Like, there's no way, Like there's no cap
Right.
at how much you can learn. You should
Yeah.
just absorb as much as you can. And a lot of the things I learned that I apply to my life every day are things I learned like just street smarts.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
little things like that you don't learn in school.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked again. So influence, I worked with Brands Now for 3 years, and I decided, you know what, I'm building someone else's platform. Why don't I build my own company? Didn't know anything about LLCs, didn't know how to build a website, didn't know anything, but I said, I gotta do it.
Yeah.
So I built my website. I started like putting all the content I've ever developed with any influencer on the site, put together these packages, and I just said, all right, I am influence consulting. I sat down with a brand owner who didn't even know what a hashtag was.
Oh my goodness.
I know. And then I'm like, there is a huge need for this. So here we are. I have a company called Influence Consulting, and I work with a ton of brands. I work with a lot of influencers. I'm constantly creating content for brands, and I manage social media pages. That's my bread and butter. And I didn't even know that that's where I would be or do, but I love it. I'm passionate about it. And every time I work with a brand, it doesn't feel like work.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool because it's something that you love.
Yeah.
On the subject of, influencing and all that, can you talk about maybe like a setback or like a huge something where you've kind of like, I don't know, that you've hit rock bottom or, just something negative that has happened that maybe, because I know now you're doing a whole bunch of other amazing things. So,
yeah. But what was one of the...
Yeah, what was like something
There's
challenging?
2 things that come to my mind right now. The first thing is the perception that you get from social media, right? Like when I first started, I did a lot of shoots for FHM, for Maxim, and I would be wearing bikinis, and I was always like, you get pinned as like this Instagram model, like this sexy Instagram model, like what does she really do? Like she's just putting herself out there in a bikini, like where's the value, right? So a lot, even from my family who had no idea what this Instagram platform was, they're like, Mia, ¿qué es eso? Like, I would get shit from my family. I would get stuff from everyone, like, oh, look at Nat, like she's an Instagram model now, and I'm like, what? No, there's more to me. So like there was this whole perception, the fear of judgment, a lot of like negative comments.
Oh
like,
my gosh, that must be hard.
Yeah, girl, like people will say some mean things just because they're having a bad day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you have to read that, and that kind of hits your self-esteem.
Yeah.
So for a really long time, I was a little bit sad about social media too, because you're putting yourself out there and everyone has this perception of you, and it might not be who you really are, right?
Absolutely.
So that led into, my Instagram was deleted when I had 80,000 followers. I think 85, somewhere around that. And it was a blessing and a curse. Blessing because I was given the opportunity to rebrand myself.
Okay.
Curse because shit.
You have
80,000 followers. Like, where am I gonna get these people back? How am I gonna find them? Well, luckily I had the right relationships with people who helped me by shouting me back out, saying Nat City's page was deleted. Like
You never retrieved it?
No.
Oh my goodness.
I had to start all over again. So, it was difficult. It definitely was a rock bottom moment because that's what I was trying to build a business around.
Yeah.
So having to start all over was hard, and then a lot of the content, back then, I didn't have a laptop where I was saving all the pictures from all these photo shoots.
Oh, no.
I just I don't even know where half that stuff is. Luckily, there was a couple friends of mine that reposted it, and I did hashtag, and this is why hashtags are really, really important too. If your page is ever gone, hashtags are not gone. They're like this universal, folder that you can. So I went on Nat City hashtag, and I was able to retrieve a lot of the content and find people who commented on those hashtags and get my following back.
That's really interesting. I never thought about that.
Yeah, hashtags are pretty important. Everyone's like, no, I don't want to put a bunch of hashtags in my captions. Oh, well, then you don't want to get more awareness. You don't want to get more people seeing this.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was hard. So fear of judgment and perception and losing my following. I didn't get into the fear of judgment so much, but it did weigh on me where I was like, oh, they're judging me.
Oh my goodness.
You don't want to be judged negatively. No one wants to feel like people are judging them. But that's just the harsh reality. There will be negative people, and then there will be, for every one negative comment, you might inspire 10 others.
Exactly. So. Yeah. Well, That's really good that you were able to overcome all those fears, and now you're at where you are where you are at now. Let's talk about Project Paper Bag. Tell the audience what
Project Paper Bag is it's like my passion, my give back, my I don't know, it's like our little baby. So I have a partner, her name is Sandra Garcia, and we've basically Project Paper Bag is a Sunday fun day where we invite people to meet us at Boomtown Brewery at 10 a.m. on a Sunday, which a lot of people don't like, but it's really cool because we make sandwiches and we prepare care packages for the homeless communities in Skid Row. So we have sandwich making, we have water, snacks, socks, blankets, travel size hygiene, and we just put them together in these little brown paper bags that we stamp with the positive message. And we spend a few hours there. We have music playing, it's really fun. And then we go over to Gladys Park in Skid Row and we distribute all the bags to the homeless community. And it's like a really big fulfilling feeling.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Yeah, being able to also provide a place for people to come and give back, that's where it hits home for me.
Why? Like what is it about
giving
back and actually being in, because a lot of people, they donate, they'll give money, but you're like literally interacting with people, you're going to their place of, wherever it is that they live on the streets or whatnot, and you're physically handing them over a bag, which, it says a lot about you. Like, why? What does it do for you? Or
well, a lot of people don't know this, but when I moved out, I was 14 years old, and there was a period of time where I didn't have a home. I slept in my car that I bought on Craigslist.
I didn't know this.
It was a white Chevy Cavalier, 93 or 94, and I slept in that car for like a good couple months. And I would go to a gym and shower at the gym, and then I would go to the mall and work every day, all day.
Oh my gosh.
So, and this is something that like I don't speak about so much, only because like I'm like shaking.
I didn't mean. I totally.
No,
I didn't
it's
know.
okay. I want to share the reason, because there's a positive spin on this. The reason why I give back is because who are we to judge another person's story?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody really knows that about me, but they perceive me as like, oh, happy, bubbly me, and I want them to know that. I also like to share the struggles and the downfalls because you can find strength in that.
Yeah.
But with Project Paper Bag, for me, it's more of like, there's a lot of negative judgment on the people that live on the streets. Mm-hmm. Maybe they fell into drugs. Maybe they are alcoholics. Maybe they did something or something happened to them that led them to be homeless.
Yeah.
But that's not our place to judge them.
Yeah.
Nobody knows, but imagine if somebody just saw me and met me and was like, oh wow, she's homeless, she's sleeping in her car. Like, they could create a whole story. I'm a drug addict, I did this. No, that's not the case. I actually had a really beautiful family who I just at the time refused to be a part of. Like, I completely emancipated myself from my father. I didn't even speak to my mother. I was too prideful, and I decided I'm gonna sleep in my car.
Yeah.
And I saved up money, got an apartment, and I
You've been moving forward.
I moved forward since, but I met a lot of people that are homeless even before Project Paper Bag came into my life, because I always volunteered at a church called Blessed Sacrament.
Oh, okay.
And what they do is absolutely amazing. They open up their church doors at 8 a.m., provide a breakfast, let them shower, give them new clothing, give them lunch, and then they shut the door.
Oh, wow.
So I would be there all the time, and I got to know a lot of the people. I met women who moved out here for love, and the guy left them and they fell into prostitution.
Oh my goodness.
I met families that their father got deported and they didn't have anywhere to go, and now they're trying to find a job, and they're trying to I have heard so many stories, and yeah, there is going to be an occasional person who just decided to just fall into alcoholism.
Yeah.
They're still people.
Yeah, they're still human beings.
Exactly.
And you don't know the reasons.
We don't.
For them falling into those bad habits.
So it's like the least I feel like I can do, being able to relate to some of the things. I mean, again, like, I didn't have it as bad as some, but I know what it feels like to not know where your next meal is going to come from, to not know where you're going to shower, if you're going to have shower privileges. Like, it's tough. So if we can just take one day out of our lives, out of our month, to provide something just out of the goodness and kindness of our heart,
yes,
the comeback and the return, I feel like, is just so much
greater.
Yeah, it's so much greater.
Yeah. And how often are you doing this?
We do it once a month. It's usually the third Sunday of the month.
And you've been doing this for a while. How long have you been doing
4
it?
years.
4 years.
Yeah. That's like my longest commitment. It's my longest relationship, the 4-year commitment to Project Paper Bag.
That is so cool. That's really cool. And so, I mean, I know that there's going to be a lot of people inspired by this, and even like wanting to help. How can they help?
So we do take donations on a GoFundMe page, but we prefer to have you come and bring donations of sandwich supplies. You could bring waters. Like this month we have a brand that's called Heal Water. They're sponsoring our water station. So they're going to bring a bunch of water. Last week we had one in San Diego, because San Diego has a huge population right now of homelessness. They provided these sandwich stations. So they brought peanut butter, jelly, bread, and their entire staff came and helped us make the sandwiches. So it's really like we don't really so much need or want like financial
money,
like monetary. Yeah, we prefer you to come and experience it.
Yeah.
And bring donations. Yeah. So it's called @ProjectPaperBag. That's our Instagram handle, and I always post the dates in the actual bio, so you can keep in touch with us there, and that's something that is dear to me. So definitely come and volunteer.
That's so cool, Nat. Yeah. I love it. I'm gonna have to. I still haven't done anything.
It's tough because it's on a Sunday, you know. So like,
everyone's
tired or.
But it's really inspiring that like you don't, you always do it. You commit to it and you do it, and you're always having fun. I see your videos.
Yeah.
You really enjoy it.
Yeah.
You enjoy it, and that shows a lot. I donate, but like I said, I've never done like we donate turkeys on Thanksgiving and stuff like that. But I actually, one time we went to a church, and that was actually really cool because there was people lined up to come and get turkeys, and I was like, oh, this is cool, because it was only like the neighborhood, and it was a church, and then they also it was like a daycare for the community, for like moms that couldn't afford daycare, so it was kind of like a free daycare for people that had to work. So like all of the moms came. I believe there was even like a Santa Claus there. It was really, really cute, but that was the only real like interaction I had, just face to face with people. So that would actually be really cool to do something like that. Yeah, and you
can bring the kids. The kids can stamp the bags or write little messages. It's cute. Yeah, all the kids.
You know what? My kids need a little something like that.
Yeah, you would be shocked how many kids come and they're like, Mom, like, I don't want that. Like, because kind of gives them a new perspective.
My son has a snack machine at his school, and he thinks like, he's like, Mom, I need $1. I'm like, you don't need $1 every day. Like, cut it out. And he's like, I need to buy something for my brother. And so I need to show him like, hey, like, you need to,
the value of money and like little things like that.
Look what we can buy with $1. We can buy a pair of socks and give it to somebody that needs it.
Yeah.
So that would actually be really cool. That's I'm gonna have to do that next. Cool. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. And then the next thing that I want to talk about is something that you and I are working on, and we're actually doing like our official launch soon.
This summer.
Yeah, and so go ahead and talk about it.
Okay, I'll talk about it. So Naiya Swim is our baby. Yes. Kind of just wanted to start a brand that like we can own, that we can like rock, and like we can promote, and comfortable bikinis and bathing suits for like the wanderer, the traveler. The whole meaning behind Naiya is just basic. It's the god of the water, the wanderer, the explorer. And the bikinis are so cute. They're fitting. They're not like, you could rock them with like some heels at the beach pool party or whatever, or you could just wear them riding a horse in Cabo. Like, it's like the diversity of the two. We have some mommy styles. We have some, little hootie styles. Whatever you prefer, we got it. They're really cute, earth tone colored, very like, just very like earthy kind of vibes.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. We started, we did kind of like a soft launch last summer just to kind of get our feet wet and know the process and figure it all out. But we're going to hit it hard this summer.
We're hitting it hard. Naiya Swim, you guys. You heard it here first.
Go to naiyaswim.com. You'll see it there. And I think we
covered all the slashes.
We covered everything, right? Yeah. And then, then your friend, sister, all of that also. So for people watching, for any aspiring influencers, let's say, or even actresses, like what is something that what is something you would say to someone that is a young person, or even not a young person, someone that just wants to get into it? Like what's a piece of advice? I mean, it doesn't have to be technical. It can be whatever it is.
So I always, whenever I do these podcasts or whenever I speak at a conference or something, like I always say this, like it's such a common term that we hear, that tunnel vision mode, right? So if you give yourself an end goal, you always have to have a goal.
Yes.
Go 100% full force into that goal. If you want to be an influencer, the first thing I say is come up with a message behind your brand. What is it that you want to be known for? What is your niche? What is it that you want to accomplish behind your brand? Absolutely. You're gonna have to start the Instagram. You're gonna have to make it a business profile, and everything that is gonna be on this page is quality content. And every piece of content that you upload on your social media needs to relate to what your overall mission is, right? What your goal is. If I want to be a fitness influencer and I want to aspire women to feel 100% confident about themselves, you're going to do everything underneath that umbrella to get to that, to push that message, correct?
Right.
So start is the number one thing I'll say. Just do it. Don't be scared. Don't worry about anybody's perception of you. Don't worry about any comments, anything like that. Just start your brand and get it going. For acting, I would say it's very important that you study. Get into a class, like hone your craft, figure out what it is you want to do, how you want to do it. Acting, you have to master. It's like basketball. Basketball players can be professional, but they practice every day. Every day. If they're just like out there not dribbling a ball and not shooting hoops, they're not going to be as great as Kobe, for example, right? Yes. So it's about practicing. It's about staying in a class and constantly exercising your mindset. And as far as like any kind of business owner or anybody that wants to pursue or kind of jump into the entrepreneur life, I would say make sure to take care of you and your inner, your spirit, your just make sure you're good. Physical, because everything you do is going to start from you. Yeah. And if you're not okay mentally, physically, spiritually, how can anything else, how can anything be developed when you're not right within? You're not, yes. So actually, I'm going to put that as the number one thing for overall the whole thing. Just take care of you. Yeah. And, meditate, stretch, do yoga, find something physically that you can do to get yourself outside of your head and outside of your mind.
Absolutely.
First and foremost,
take
care of your temple.
Yeah.
You only got one.
Yes, so. I agree. I agree 100% or 1,000%. I think that, people, when you want to achieve something or when you want to be successful in something, you don't have to be, the expert. You don't have to have, like I said, or like we were talking about earlier, you don't have to have the degree. Oh, I have the degree in this. No, you have to have the desire. If you have the desire, I think desire is number one. I have the desire to, to excel in this or to become this person. And that's first and foremost, because you can have the degree. Yeah. But how many people do you know with degrees that don't have the desire, that are still, living at home or not doing anything with that degree? Yeah. So as long as you have the desire, you don't necessarily have to have, be the A student. You just know you're going to get it done no matter what, no matter how many times you fail, no matter what, you're going to get it done. And that's number one, is to have the desire. Number two, like you said, is also like, being whole with yourself, mentally, physically, emotionally. Like, how can you be in a relationship and not love yourself? You can't. You have to love yourself first. You have to take care of yourself first. Even as a mother, I have to So, and sometimes we forget this, especially being a mom. You're always taking care of everybody else. You're taking care of, the family, the kids. You're taking care of your husband first. And you forget a little bit about yourself. But then it's like, if I forget about myself and I'm not helping myself, how am I supposed to help you?
Yeah.
I have to feel good. I have to wake up feeling well.
Yeah.
So that I can give you my best.
Absolutely.
So that I can come home and kind of like they say, are you giving your family your best, or are you giving them the rest? Are you giving them the rest of you? Like, no, you don't want to do that. You want to,
Have you ever heard the expression, like, you can't pour from an empty cup?
Yes.
That's
true.
Like, that right there, when I actually, like, really started to think about that, like, you are so correct, whoever wrote that, because you can't give anything if you're not whole.
Right.
Yeah. You can't pour from an empty cup. There has to be substance inside of you. And I can go on this topic for a while.
And then once you have the desire, and once you're whole and you're good, your mind, your body, your soul is good, then learn the craft. Learn the craft of what it is that you want to accomplish. And when you have those things, like, you can do anything. You can do anything you set your mind to, and you just gotta have the desire and the want. And
I want to add drive. The drive too. Yeah. You know how crazy is it that, like, our grandparents, our parents, they didn't have platforms that we have now to allow us to succeed. Like, there's no reason why you shouldn't be making money. There is no reason. There's so many platforms. There's so many, like, things that are handed to us now that we have more opportunity to do so much. So take care of yourself. Be driven. Focus on a goal. Work towards it. Tunnel vision. Let go of any negativity. That's a wrap.
Well said, Nat City. So then let everybody know. We already told them, but let everybody know where they can reach you.
Okay, so if you have any brands or collaborations you want to do with influencers, it's Influence Consulting. My personal page and brand is at Nat City. Naiya Swim is at Naiya, Naiya Swim. And Project Paper Bag, I said it, but let's repeat it, at Project Paper Bag.
Thank you, Nat. And you guys, I'll have the descriptions. I'm sorry, I'll have the links in the descriptions. And then I think I've only mentioned this maybe on my first episode. So if you guys haven't watched, if you want to reach me, go to my website, monicamsinger.com. You can also look at my vlogs from there. You can look at my podcast from there, listen to my podcast from there. I also have blogs on there. And then if you're interested in any real estate stuff, I have listings there. If you want to reach me about any real estate projects, you can just go to my website, monicamsinger.com.
Yes.
And with that, thank you so much, Nat.
Thank you for having me. I feel good. See, this is like a little therapy session too, right? Just like releasing and talking about everything.
Yeah. So,
thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. We'll see you guys. Hopefully you guys will see us next time. Bye.
Bye.